What is up, everyone? Welcome to Sin City Open 2025 round 3. We got old school Eternal Central going, and boy, do we have some cool decks to show off. So without further ado, let's get in those deck lists. First up, we have Steve on what I'm going to call Chain Rack. The main reason for that is the 4 of Chains of Mephistopheles. Although you may notice in his deck photo, he does have 4 additional ones on the corner. So obviously one of his personal favorite cards. After playing against this card for a little bit in old school, I sort of know what it does, but basically the Chains of Mephistopheles replaces a player's additional draw effect and forces them to discard, then draw a card. If they have multiple, it's a little more complicated, but basically you're just trying to hand attack your opponent. Once your opponent has no cards in the hand, it becomes really difficult for them to answer a chain, let alone 2, especially with additional draw effects on the stack, causing them to mill cards. Really nasty stuff. So the deck is running lots of draw effects and lots of wheel effects. Specifically, you'll notice 3 Winds of Change. Of course, you have a Wheel of Fortune in there as well. 4 Howling Mines, 3 Relic Barriers to tap to those Howling Mines, 4 Racks, which are going to be the main win con here. You'll notice that he doesn't actually have creatures in the main deck. He does have 4 factories, but you know, that's probably an alt win con for this deck. You'll notice it is also a fully powered list and is running 4 Bolts in the main to help deal with some creatures, but the main form of creature removal is actually 2 Abysses. And I actually did misspeak. There is 1 creature in the main deck, and that is a single Atog. Sideboard is switching it up quite a bit, turning to actually a very creature heavy deck. He's got 4 Serendibs, 4 Trolls, adds 4 Chain Lightnings, has 2 Hurkyl's Recall, and actually has an orb in the side. Steve is not a follower of the ideology of 60 plus an orb in the main deck, I guess. So yeah, transformative sideboard turning into definitely more of just a Grixis aggro deck. But overall, this is a super sweet list, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. So let's get into his opponent. Next up is Matt, and unfortunately, we do not have a deck list for him. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly what he's playing, but I'm recording this after I've watched the matches, so I do have a couple of key cards to highlight, and he's actually playing at least a 4-color Reanimator list. That means he's running Animate Deads, he has All Hallows Eve, he's got Bazaar of Baghdad to help get creatures in the graveyard, and for reanimation targets, we're talking Shivan Dragons, Trikes, and Sarah Angels. Overall, the list was like a ton of fun, and I can't wait for you guys to watch it, so let's get into those games. All right, here we go. Matt is on the left, Steve is on the right. Matt is resolving a mulligan here. Gonna be looking for a better 6. I do want to call something out real quick because you guys just watched the deck for these 2 decks. I actually don't know what Matt is playing currently. One of the things I like to do with these videos is to watch the gameplay for the first time when I'm commentating on it to kind of give a pseudo feel of live commentary. Oops, Steven just showing off his ring that he won yesterday for winning the sorcery tournament. But yeah, so I don't actually know what Matt is playing. You guys have a better idea because I highlighted key cards that we're going to see throughout these games, but I have no clue. So this should be interesting. Now we know Steve is on the Chains of Mephistopheles deck, which, I'm going to be honest, I did another quick refresher on how these cards work, so we'll see if I can commentate on it correctly. But man, it's a complicated deck. But it looks like Matt did find a keepable 6. Trying to decide what to put back. Alright, looks like we found it. And it looks like that's Badlands. Ooh, a little glary. I don't know if it's the sleeves or just location there, but interesting. And Steve's going to play out of Badlands into a Soul Ring into 2 racks. Okay. That's a hell of a start. But now, Steve, can you empty your opponent's hand to make those racks do anything? Oh, okay, there's this Strip Mine. Really cool Uncle Esteban altar there. And it's just going to pass. Not doing anything with the Badlands. But yeah, that is a really sweet altar. I wonder if that was done by Daniel. It is signed by him, so it could be. But yeah, for those of you wondering about the ring, we had 2 tournaments actually going on. Okay, Steven gonna play a City Brass and a Sapphire. What are we gonna do with all that mana? Taking a point from the City Brass to Demonic Tutor. All right, we got 1 floating. While he's searching out what he's grabbing, I'll finish my sentence. there was 2 tournaments, a pre-modern tournament, which will be on the channel eventually. I'm going to start putting those out as soon as we're done with the old school tournament, and a sorcery tournament, which I did not record because it was happening at the same time. And to be honest, I don't know how to play sorcery. I bought the starter decks. It looks super cool. I love the art, obviously. Old school Magic artist. Sign me up. But I just haven't got around to actually learning how to play yet. So, it does look fun. And congrats to Steven for taking it down, getting what is honestly a super cool prize. That ring is some serious bling. Definitely intimidation factor for Matt right now. Alright, so we grabbed a recall. Or not recall, sorry. Draw 3. Yeah. Ooh, and how about a time walk? Okay. Yeah, Ancestral Recall into Time Walk is a pretty good turn. It looks like another Badlands for Matt, and just going to pass here. And what are we going to do with all of this mana? He's got the payoffs already on board with the racks. Tap 3. Alright. Gonna play out a Howling Mine. That seems pretty good, especially if you get to use it first. Taking that extra turn, drawing 2 extra cards. And let's see, yeah, we're gonna strip. That was a Badlands. Plays out a Factory. And ooh, does he have a Chains in hand? I think he might. A little tough to tell, but I thought I saw. Yeah, all right, there we go. Chains down on the board. That's gonna be an interesting one with Howling Mine, I believe, because Howling Mine has you draw before you draw. Before your draw step. It's the beginning of your draw step, I believe is how it's worded. Yeah, you draw an additional card. So that will trigger the chains. Pretty sure. So draw, and then, well, technically you have to discard before you draw. Right. Okay, he's going to discard a Shivan Dragon. And he gets his normal draw, which he does not have to discard for. Alright, the sequencing allow is a little bit off, but that's fine. That's another Shivan Dragon. That's an Animate Dead. Is this a Reanimator deck? Oh. Oh no. I think Steve just walked into a bad matchup. Turn 2, technically turn 3, I guess. Shivan Dragon. That's going to be a problem. Okay, well, we'll see if Steve has an answer to that. Matt, of course, having another one in hand. Does he have another Reanimate spell to take advantage of the chains? What a perfect set of circumstances for Matt to not only have the Animate. Oh, so chains is symmetrical. Though Steve discarding another chain, saying, I don't really want to have you be doing that too much more. And maybe just taking for answers or even a clock. There's another factory that would not quite race. I mean, obviously the Shivan Dragon can get buffed up by those 2 Badlands, but it's somewhat of a clock. I mean, with the racks, assuming he can actually. Oh, is that a wind exchange? Okay, so if you play the wind exchange, I believe that just gets rid of all your opponent's cards. It also gets rid of all your cards too, though, is kind of the issue. So Steven has to be very confident here he can race the Shivan Dragon. Currently, he is down on life, but he can potentially deal yeah, 10 damage a turn. I think you go for it. Assuming I'm understanding how chains works. Okay, we're gonna try and decide between the Winds of Change, and another card. Not sure what that other card is. Is it a Relic Barrier? A little tough to see. Oh, okay. Reanimating the factory. And buffing it. Swing in for 3. And Matt designed to let the damage through here, not blocking with his Shivan. Probably smart. And there's a Winds of Change. Oh, especially since Steve does actually have a bolt in hand. Okay, so I believe how this works is through Chains, every instance of draw you have to discard first. So because Matt will not have any cards in hand, he actually just has to mill 1 for each instance of draw. Same thing with Steve. He'll have to mill however many cards he had. Minus, yeah, whatever the Winds of Change text is. But basically just not even discarding. Matt's just milling over X amount of cards. Oh, yeah, not forgetting to do that. Oh, I see a Triskelion. Bizarre Baghdad. Mind Twist. Okay. Yeah, I think this is a reanimation deck. Very cool. Okay. Draw off of... Yeah, and then draw for turn. Okay. And we're just going to pump the Shivan Dragon. Oh, it looks like... Yeah, Matt forgot to take damage off the rack there. That could be super relevant. Uh-oh. And it looks like Steve didn't catch it either. Alright, Steve taking a point off of this city to play another Chains. Oh no. He thought 1 Chains was bad. 2 just gets kind of confusing. So I believe how this works with the Howling Mine, and this might be what Steve is explaining. When you draw the card for the Howling Mine, both Chains trigger. So you'll have to pitch 1, and then you'll have to mill 1. Oh, okay, we're gonna get 4 damage in with the Mistress Factories. Dropping down to 13. And say go. Oh, good. Steve remembering his rack triggers this time. And Matt taking 4. Alright, so that draw trigger doesn't actually happen. Yeah, you have to discard that one first. And then that gets milled, and then you have your regular draw. Yeah, that is correct. So technically shouldn't have had either in hand, but they will end up in the graveyard anyways. It's whatever. Yeah. Alright, we are pumping the Shivan, swinging in for more. And Steve just down to 3. Really needing a top deck here. I don't think he has... I guess his out would be one of the bolts. Okay, swinging for 4 again. And Matt down to 5. Say go. And I think Matt just actually has this in the bag. Unfortunately, those rack triggers going to be the decider in this game. But, you know, what are you going to do? There's no on-site judge. These are casual games. It is a tournament, of course. But, yeah, I don't think this miss trigger was intentional by either player. I don't know why that ended up in the bin, but yeah, okay. Yeah, we're just going to be swinging in for the win here, and Matt's going to take down game number 1, quick little handshake, and let's get into game number 2. I think I forgot to actually call it out, but I noticed that Matt also had an All Hallows Eve, which is another super cool card. A couple of rad decks on camera today. I really do wish we had Matt's deck list. If I end up somehow getting it after the fact, either Matt sees it or someone who knows him gets in touch with him and I get the list, I'll at least do like a digital Mox field of it. Maybe tweet it out and, or I don't know, what do you call a blue sky tweet? Either way, I'll try and post it post-mortem if we do get it. All right, there's a Mox Jet. I think that was a Plateau into a Demonic Tutor. And I think Matt just deciding what he wants to get here. A little bit of friendly table conversation. The Bazaars of Baghdad are pretty cool. So if he has a reanimation spell in hand, do you just get a Bazaar and hope you get lucky? Or is he going for the Mind Twist here? If he has enough mana to power it out, keeping your discard opponent off of their discard stuff seems pretty good. Because Chains does work both ways. If you get your opponent who plays the Chains down to no cards in hand, it's really tough for them to keep a hand as well. Those symmetrical effects. Oh, there's a Lotus. Alright, looks like we're tutoring for the Lotus. Actually, I don't know what he grabbed. But smart to play it out. Don't know if it could potentially get lost in a flurry of chains and wheel spells. Alright, there's a factory. And just gonna say go here. Now, I don't think Steve had any blue elemental blasts or anything like that, or red elemental blasts. Okay, we're gonna crack the Lotus here. Use one of it. Draw a couple cards. Or a few. Couple is two, right? Ancestral Recall is three. Semantics. Alright, so we still have two floating. Two blue specifically. What are we doing for 5 mana? How about just a hard cast? Sarah Angel and go. That's a good blocker for the factories. Also really tough for Steve's deck to kill. I mean, Steve does have 2 Abyss, so that is definitely a consideration. You didn't see him last game, but... Oh, okay, no, we're switching things up. We're going creature mode here. Steve opting for his transformative sideboard, plays out a Naked Sedge Troll. It is a 3/3. Okay, I think that's another strip. Hidden the Underground Sea. Now the Sedge Troll's a 2/2. Say go. Oh, how about another Underground Sea? And of course the Star Angel swung in, but so you're trying to decide what he's doing here. How about another troll? Okay. So no attack this turn, but building up his forces for swing next turn, it looks like. And playing out a Soul Ring. Both of these players' decks are just gorgeous. Steve's has amazing signatures. I'm pretty sure there's some Garfield signatures in there, like almost, I think every card is signed. Ooh, and a Bazaar Baghdad there for Matt. Alright, Sarah's gonna swing in. Do you take the Bazaar for a Joyride? Do you have a reanimation spell? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Alright, now it's the trolls' time to shine. Three threes that can regenerate are pretty good. Okay, we're just gonna see a time twister. Steve wanting a better crack at a better 7. And Matt giving this a think. Does he have something he potentially wants to do? I mean, you could crack the... Well, cracking the Bazaar doesn't... Or tapping it doesn't do anything. It just goes shuffle back into the library. Are we doing it anyways? Okay. Interesting. All right, yeah, I just wanted to see, I guess, what was on top. That's fine. Bazaar is a super cool card, though. I haven't really seen played in much old school. Then again, I also haven't really seen much in the way of a Reanimator deck either, so this is new territory for me. I don't know if it's a well-established deck, but I've not seen it. In fact, Bazaar with All Hallows Eve. Yeah, that is super cool. For those of you not familiar with All Hallows Eve, 4 drop enchantment from Legends. At the beginning of your upkeep, if All Hallows Eve is exiled with a scream counter on it, remove a scream counter for it. When you cast it, it starts with 2. If there are no more scream counters on it, put it into your graveyard, and each player returns all creature cards from their graveyard to the battlefield. Alright, looks like Steve getting at least an Emerald and a Badlands. Do you... Yes, we are going to combat here. Might as well get 3 damage in, get the clock going a little bit. He is down to 12, so running low on life. Needing to pick things up. Does Matt have a bolt? Or swords? Swords would be nasty. Does look like he has a library. Not sure what the other cards are in. Potentially some piece of blue power. Is he just thinking about taking 6 damage? Oh, that's a... Okay, that's what the blue card is. It's a swords. That is a cool altar. Alright, and then, so you're just going to play out a Soul Ring. And say go. Swords is... That is such a funny altar. I like that a lot. I've seen some on the Discord channels where they've actually been painted to look blue. I wonder if that's what this is, or if this is just taking the art from it, putting it on a different card. All right, Sarah swinging in. Steve did gain some life there because of the swords. Alright, there's a demonic tutor. Getting it back thanks to the time twister. What do we grab here? You just grab the lotus. Do you have enough stuff worth casting. You grab a reanimation spell and hope you hit a big creature or have a big creature already with your Bazaar out on the field. I think that's probably what you do, right? If you don't have a reanimation spell, go and grab one. If you do have one, grab a creature just to make sure you hit. You just grab a Shivan. It's tempting. It really just does depend on what's in Matt's hand, and we don't really have a good idea on what that is, but he is seriously looking at that Shivan Dragon. Yes, Steve, we know you. You got that ring. Don't punch the camera, please. It's expensive. That is such a sweet prize, though. The event organizers, the Sin City Fallen Angels, and James specifically just did an amazing job with both days of the event. Such a fun time. If you have the opportunity to go next year, which I'm sure there's going to be next year, I'm sure it's actually going to be at this venue too, which was a fantastic venue. I highly recommend it. Okay, what did we grab with Demonic Tutor? You may never know. Unless it's the very next card he plays. Well, it's probably not the Badlands he just tutored for. Okay, we're gonna activate the Bazaar. Discarding a Shivan Dragon and a Shivan Dragon. So maybe he searched for one and another Bazaar, it looked like. The glare is especially bad in this spot for some reason. I don't think I noticed that on the other videos. Alright, there's that Animate Dead, which is also color shifted for the dragon. And then there's a Disenchant to hit the Soul Ring and pass. And I think Steve actually potentially facing down lethal here. How much red mana does Matt have? 3? Maybe? Okay, so not quite lethal. Actually, no, if he has 3 mana, it is lethal. And Steve just swinging in. Please block something. Please let me use some sort of combat trick. Oh, does he have 3 black mana? Or 3 red mana? He might. Alright, there's a rack. It's a little late. But there it is. Alright, another land for turn. And it really is, how much red mana does he have? Oh, he does. Okay, that is another red source. Yeah, that is... Now, if we're going to Mind Twist, double bolt on the Shivan Dragon. Can't pump it out of bolt range? Still can, right? Oh, no, that's right, because Shivan Dragon just... Duh. Big... Yeah, I know what Shivan Dragon does. It's fire breathing. Jesus Christ. Ignore me. Yes, obviously 2 bolts does kill a dragon. But that is 2 bolts he had to waste. And he was going to lose anyways, but still. Alright. Swinging in. Looks like blocking the... Yeah, block the factory. Take 5. Drop to 7. 2 cards in hand, so take a point off of the rack. And if Matt has a bolt, he wins. Alright, swinging in for 4. Down to 3. there's a trike that's just as good as a bolt. And that'll do it. Matt winning with a super sweet Reanimator deck. Steve, even though your deck didn't really get to do the thing in game number 2, well, I guess it kind of did. You switched over to more of a creature deck, but still really love the concept as well. Chains is just such a disgusting card. I love seeing it, even if I don't necessarily love playing against it. And thanks to all you guys for making it this far. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can find your way back here. This is only round 3 of 7 for this tournament, so we got plenty more old school to go, as well as all the pre-modern I recorded for the day prior, and also just all the pre-modern old school videos we do on the channel normally. If you want to support the channel financially, there is a Patreon link in the video description. That money goes towards travel expenses, like going to this event, gear upgrades, like paying for the gear that could fit in a suitcase to make it to this event, and just making more videos in general. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.